Coming up next, NASCAR mini stock action here on Home Track Heroes. Steve Mortland here along with Tom Glithero. And we'll talk about this cat a lot, but I don't think there's a hotter driver on the West Coast than the number 19 of Thomas Stanford. You'll see him coming up, and he has just dominated this class all year long.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Steve, how about giving us the starting lineup?
Yes, sir. It's going to be Jason Wilson in the 20 on the pole for this one. Brad Thomas in the number 5. He'll have an in-car camera brought to you by Armageddon Arms in Monroe. Second row inside will be Dylan Bewald in the 29 outside of Bewald. In the number 4 car is Cole Reardon. 97 of Nat Barber, a longtime competitor, many-time champion in this division over the years in his familiar number 97 on the inside third row. Outside of Nat in the number 521, Mike Jensen with an in-car camera brought to you by John Bender Racing.
Inside of row 4, it's the points leader and probably the champion in the APC Auto Spa car. It's Thomas Stanford. Outside of him in the 26 car, Jimmy Absher, and he's sponsored by the Torset Group. Inside of row 5, it's the 25 of Riley Daughtry, Twisted Metal Off-Road and Repair, and the 23 car of Ellie Musgrave by True Contracting. In row 6, it's Brandon Brock in the Whitewall Brewery, number 94. And rounding out the field in the 02, it's Lane Sundholm.
Wow, good to see Lane back behind the wheel in this class. Champion in this several times in the mini stocks, also in the street stocks. And always threw us a solid back in the radio days when he had our logo on his hood. It's one of my all-time favorite pictures, and Lane just did it because he's a sweetheart of a guy. So good to see him back out here. Nice field coming up. 30 laps before we get going. This is brought to you by Bardall. They're a family-owned business headquartered in Seattle and a technology-driven manufacturer of some of the best automotive lubricants in the world. Racers and champions around the world rely on Bardall. They are underway going into turn number 1. Jason Wilson on the pole with Brad Thomas working him up on the outside. Dylan Bewald taking a peek down on the inside. Nat Barber was as well, but we'll get them out of turn number 4 and look at Brad Thomas working that outside line. Let's go inside and see how he does it. Jason Wilson, holy cow, what happened here? He is just all over the place, hanging on to it. Nice job, Jason. He'll have a lot of work to get back up to where he was as pretty much the entire field gets around Jason in the number 20 car. But beautiful job of hanging on. But it's all Brad Thomas here working lap number 3.
You know, this is a group where, like I say, Stanford has just been dominant.
Yeah.
But the last couple of weeks, that field seems to be slowly catching up to Stanford. So we'll see what happens tonight, if he can go on to win another main event, and just how close, that competition, which includes Nat Barber and people like that who get that flipping job done each and every week.
Yeah.
See how they do.
Yeah, I think the amazing thing about Stanford's 19 car, and if you just kind of focus on it when we have them on, especially in shots like this car can just go anywhere he needs for it to go. If he needs to run low, he can do that. If he needs to run high, he can do that. If he needs to kind of cross over in the middle of a turn, not a problem. Just crank the wheel. It'll go anywhere he wants to as he gets underneath the, I believe that's the 90. No, it's not the 90. That might be the 29 of Bewald. There's Jimmy Absher as they watch Tom Stanford make his way through the field. Had a really nice payday about a month ago down at Madera Speedway as part of the Olga's California Dream 100. You saw that, I hope, on MAV TV. That was an impressive show. Several Northwest guys made it down there, but boy, coming home with all of the money and all the hardware was at number 19.
You can take a look at inside that in-car camera. You can see all those green bars. That's part of the roll cage, the structure of that car to keep that driver safe. There was one up through the windshield. Won't let big stuff through the windshield. Hopefully ties that cage together. You've got the door bars out on the right side. There's door bars on the left side. If he moves his hand, you can see just a little bit of those. Those race cars are designed and built to protect you just as safely as you can. Not to say that racing isn't dangerous. It is a dangerous sport, but everything is done here at Evergreen Speedway to make it as safe as possible.
Absolutely, and you see good shot there in Nat Barber in the 97, but it's so cool to see Stanford work the outside as he came out of turn number 2 when we had the in-car shot with the 5 of Thomas and just did it like just, another Saturday afternoon drive for the 19 of Thomas Stanford as he came into this race with an insurmountable lead in this division, and I'm sure if you want to place your bets on who the champion in the NASCAR mini stocks this year, probably better things to do with your money.
Steve, if you had a pro late model team Is Thomas Stanford a candidate to move into one of those cars?
In a heartbeat. I don't know. I would love to find out the guy's background. And, but he has been around this track for a while, but never really had a breakthrough season like he has in all the years I've been out here, and you too. This guy just kind of, he came from somewhere, but came out of nowhere, and just is dominant.
At 26 years of age, he is a prime-time race car driver out of Sammamish area. That is a Ford. And I would think that obviously he has a lot to do with the set of the car, but he must have some pretty good help in terms of his crew.
Yeah.
I asked that question because I would think if I was a pro late model owner, watching that guy do what Thomas has been doing, he might deserve or does deserve a shot in a pro late model car.
I think it's been kind of historically proven as we get back inside now with Jimmy Absher in the 26 as he's working the steering wheel. Good shout out to Joe's Racing Products there, right on the steering wheel. Good job. As never hurts to throw out props to our local suppliers and manufacturers. We got a ton of them around here, whether you race asphalt or whether you race dirt. But working that steering wheel, and there he goes. The Mortland curse has happened once again. Sorry,
man.
Jimmy. As we bring it back upstairs, can't get through a race without causing somebody to go around. But getting back to your...
Don't touch me.
No, I won't. Getting back to
I'll fall off my chair or something.
Blame you, I would too. But getting back to your question, your comment about Thomas Stanford, yeah, I'd put him in one in a heartbeat because it's been kind of traditional and proven over the years. A lot of the great super late model drivers have always come out of the mini stock ranks.
Yeah, you think about the Moriartys and
Trenton and Tom
and Roger Havoc and Sean Fitzpatrick, Dad.
Yep.
He was one of those guys. And there's been a number of Joe Constance, I think, came out of mini stocks. You're right. There's some good history there.
All right, let's go inside and see what Mike Jensen is up to. He's a guy that's going to be working hard on the outside. And as we get this thing back underway, really smooth, really calm inside that car.
That wheel down away from him, not up close, not a real big wheel either, but you can see he's got that wheel down fairly low. Stock car racers as a whole want that thing up here close to the chest. I guess that's so when you hit it, you're not going a bunch of speed, but maybe a little bit different positioning there.
Yeah, it's always been a school of thought because obviously when you're watching the NASCAR guys on Sundays, a lot of them do have that thing, right up close. And I guess what it does, it's muscle-wise in your arms, it's a lot easier to have to pull that thing down instead of having to use your whole body to kind of twist the wheel. And at the rate of speed those guys are going with the size of tires and the speed and whatnot, I can see where that could become. It seems somewhat unnatural though when you see it, but try it. When you're on the freeway, move your seat up and move your steering wheel up and just see how it feels. It's pretty natural. It really is.
And comfort is so important. These are four-cylinder cars, so they rattle, they shake. Four-cylinder motors just do that by nature. And the way these things are suspended, they're locked down to the racetrack. And so you'll find even in the shorter events like this at 30 laps, a little bit of arm fatigue. You start gripping that wheel tighter and tighter. So you've got to learn to relax and be a good race car driver. Going inside of Brad Thomas's car as he heads off down the back stretch, you can see his footwork. He's using his right foot on the gas and slipped it on over to the brake just a minute ago. There he is on the gas all the way down.
He's all the way down.
And now he heads into turn one. He gets over there. Where you'll see later in the sprint cars, which you won't be able to see, there's a drive shaft that runs right down between there, so you can't do that. And, my grandson was asking me, how come you use 2 feet on the car and they teach you to use 1? And I said, well, because I drove an open wheel car, so my driver's ed teacher wouldn't agree with how I did it.
There's the 02 of Lane Sundholm, who has quietly moved up into that second spot. That is a gorgeous looking car, but Lane always has just incredible looking cars over the course of his long and pretty rich history out here at Evergreen Speedway. Nat Barber in the second spot. There's a good shot of Cole Reardon in that number 4 car. Mike Jensen having a kind of a, not I don't want to say an off night for the 521. Mike's always up in that top, 2, top 3. And he just, and he certainly deserves an off night as he's been really up on it all season long. But he'll get that thing figured out for championship night coming up here in a couple weeks here on Home Track Heroes.
Well, Nat Barber, who's running in that second spot, not that far behind Sanford as in early in the year, has been very candid, very open.
Yeah.
This is a new race car, and he hasn't been happy with it at all this year. So I'm going to guess they'll take that brand new race car into the shop this winter and tear it all apart and go through every bit of the geometry of it, every bit of the setup, looking for something that maybe they missed this year, because just a tick off for the way Nat Barber normally runs.
Yeah, he's pretty particular, and he knows what he needs out of a race car, and he will get it figured out. But boy, meanwhile, it is all Thomas Stanford as we're working the downhill slope of our 30-lap main event for our NASCAR mini stocks. Nat Barber in the second spot. Good battle between he and the 0-2 of Lane Sundholm. Another great shot of the 4 of Cole Reardon. Mike Jensen, as we mentioned, in the 5th spot. Brad Thomas in the 5 car in the top half of this field. But Thomas Stanford putting another lap in the books by about a 12 to 15 car length lead over Nat Barber and Lane Sundholm as they take it out of 2.
Well, that Sundholm name, and you go back to his sister, Leanne Tanner,
Yeah.
a champion in this class too. And so that Sundholm family spent a lot of time in 4-cylinder racing here at Evergreen Speedway. As you see Stanford down there, 2 cars going down another lap as he heads off. But, go back a few races ago, he was a half a lap ahead. Now he's about a half a straightaway ahead. So they're catching up to whatever Thomas Stanford figured out early, but they still got a ways to go.
Yeah, and there's always the kind of thought, too, that runs in the back of my mind at least, is that Stanford's thinking, I better maybe not kind of stink up this show so bad. He may be just hanging in there, letting them get up close to him to put on a good show, because he knows that a lot of people are watching what he's doing, and he's going to get the win. There doesn't seem to be any doubt about that at all. In fact, he should be seeing the white flag coming up next time around, as will Nat Barber and Lane Sundholm. Sundholm will try and take a look around the outside. There it is, white flag, one more to go. Another win coming up for the 19, the Mustang of Thomas Stanford, as the battle still continues for that second spot, with Nat Barber hanging on to it now by about 3 car lengths over Lane Sundholm as they come into 2. Meanwhile, back out of turn number 4, one more checkered flag. A phenomenal 2020 season for the driver of the 19, Thomas Stanford. Nat Barber in second, Lane Sundholm in third, and again we'll bring them up to our Angel of the Winds winners platform here and find out what they all thought of the race. But boy, the magical season continues for the 19.
You're right. That thing, not only is it driven well, it's well prepared.
Yeah, it looks good. In fact, on my notes here, right down, you see it right there, wrote down Stanford points leader in parentheses. I put duh. All right, let's go down to Brandy Chavez.
All right, Lane Sundholm, driver of the number 2 mini stock, comes home in 3rd place tonight. Walk me through that race.
It was a brand new car, brand new attempt. Everything's went wrong all day, but these guys on Team Pink, man, they worked all day long to do this. It was a lot of work and had no brakes, but came along real good.
And any special shout-outs for you tonight?
Jim Heller, Justin Childress, Team Pink, everybody. It's been a long build.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, 2nd place in the mini stocks tonight, Nat Barber in the 97 car. You were all over that racetrack tonight. Walk me through that.
So I don't know what exactly happened there at the beginning, but the 20 car got turned sideways and lost it about 5 times in front of all of us. And Mike Jensen and me got together, and it screwed my front end up. So at that point, I was just getting whatever I could out of it, and I can't believe I drove it up to 2nd. But we've been working on it, and it's getting better, and I think it would have even been better than that if it hadn't been for that. But oh well, we'll take it.
Anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank everybody that supports us with Racers Against Child Abuse. Look us up on Facebook.com. Or Facebook, and then on our website, racersagainstchildabuse.com. I got to thank Ben Smith, Chris Dudek, Mike Honcho, my wife Amy, my son Sam, and my son's grandparents, Phil and Kathy Dudek.
All right, Nat Barber comes in at 2nd place tonight. Is there anybody who can get past you in the mini stocks?
I don't know. There was a couple new cars here today that I think are going to have some good speed. We got 1 race left here, so I think we're pretty close to getting the championship locked up. I think we'll probably just have to start and finished decent in the last race. But it's been a great season for us. I mean, my crew's worked really hard. We've had good support from all our sponsors: APC Auto Spa, Easy Street Asphalt, Hager Motorsports, Midland Trucking. It's been a great year. It's I mean, everything I could ask for.